Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
Hello, I'm Connor Coggins, and we're looking at brand new. I like brand new, Stuart. Makes me happy on the inside.
Yes, it was a nice surprise to get this, so happy to see it. It happened on Captain Picard Day because, yes, of course it did. But Picard Season 2 trailer.
Yeah, Picard Day's not on my calendar, sorry. So it was still a surprise, but it's a very logical surprise. Season 2, and we did get a good amount of visuals. Teasing visuals, in fairness, but...
It was fantastic to see this, so it left me very upbeat. And we've already done a full live talking about it, so if you want to get our really in-depth thoughts, go check that out as well. But if you just want a quick synopsis, that's basically what we're going to do right here, right now.
You're already here watching it, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. So what did you think of it when you saw it?
Yeah, one of the funniest things I took away from it was it doesn't feel like Season 1, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, these shows have had a habit of resetting themselves. You know, Discovery Season 1 to 2 is very different. 2 and then 3, another reset to all the characters in the storyline. This feels like another reset where they made a storyline, they abandoned quite a lot of it as they were writing it. The ending got wrote on the fly. I don't think anyone's so super happy with it because it's not a really tightly formed season. So let's just move past it. I get the sense of their vibe. You know, nothing from that season seems to feel as if it carries on. And so therefore just start fresh. You've got characters that some people like, some people dislike, but at least they have some characterization to them. And Picard should be revitalized. They have to really work hard to say he was as frail in this, based on things that happened in Season 1. And the overall vibe beyond that, it doesn't feel like Season 1, is that Picard's given this voiceover that implies he's going to be a very pushful, forward-looking character, helping everyone solve the problem. Very like Captain Admiral Picard would be. The hero, the using his decades of experience and wisdom and knowledge of rather an old man who's really lost most of the spark that made him who he was and was not fun to watch until the moments he was. And that vibe was really positive because at the very least we want to see good characterization of anybody.
Yeah, and we said that coming out of Season 1, like with what transpired in Season 1, you'd hope that in Season 2 he'd be a little bit more energetic, a little bit more optimistic, a little bit less weary, and that definitely so far in this trailer kind of shines through. So absolutely, I totally agree with that.
Because you want a good sci-fi story with good characters, and having so much dwelling on his, you know, ill health, but not really just his age, really pulled it back. And they did, you know, growing old very well in Star Trek 2, done properly and appropriately. And remember, in the Star Trek world, if Picard's in his 90s, that's like late middle age with all the modern technology. You can live to 140, 50, 60. So it's only Patrick Stewart's physical age that makes the character fit. And also they were pushing into that. You know, I met Patrick less than a year or a year before, far more spry than was on screen. And same with Brent Spiner. His voice was the same as it should be, but then seemed older in Picard. So they definitely leaned into that. This feels much more forward-thinking and less actiony. And we watched that Season 1 trailer of Picard, and that felt more, okay, there's fight scenes, because why not? This one doesn't really have that, and we'd rather have more more thinking Star Trek and character-based. So there are good signs here, even for what they're not showing.
And one of the things people brought up was Q's age, but I mean, Q is Q. Q can be anything he wants to be, and I'm sure he's going to age appropriately to either, you know, just mirror Picard, because he always has done that. He's always worn the same kind of uniforms, always been a captain in whatever era, and it's quite appropriate that he's older. So that's no real big issue for me. So seeing Delancey back as Q was great. He still looks great. He still sounds great. Like, he doesn't sound aged at all. So it was really great to see him, and I'm looking forward to some really good Q stories here. So, or at least one. I guess it would be one story, but yeah, you know what I mean.
One long. And we're certainly getting all good things vibes here. You know, with change in reality, alternate reality. You know, the way Picard comes in wearing an alternate universe costume and badge. You know, the universe has clearly changed around them, or they've shifted into a different universe. And Q's there to help them, which is just like Tapestry in those some respects and all good things. So there's definitely going to be that, you know, bringing Q back in his most classic way. And certainly I find it very odd to for people to just, I felt that they want something to complain about, because he's an immortal, timeless space god being who only creates a physical form to interact with humans. Why can't he age? That isn't his body. Like, there's that disconnect that people seem to have between immortal, spaceless god being real body man person. I mean, and again, if you look at TNG Seasons 1 and End of Voyager, he looked drastically older. They were hiding the makeup and such, but he looked not very good in End of Voyager. Like, see, they try to make him look like he should just embrace it a little bit and, whatever. So the fact they've gone for a different vibe is fine with me. I like the fact they sort of mirrored Picard's costume. We said that during the live. It's still the black. It's similar materials, just different. And you called out that badge is actually his judge's badge, but muted down to black and slightly different, more pointy. But so he's still doing that cueness while mirroring the vibe that Picard's giving, or indeed just the universe he's in. Because if he's in an alternate universe where everyone wears black uniforms, as when Picard wears a later black uniform as well, maybe that's just a thing. And it looks rather good with the goatee as well. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and just remember, the trial never ends. So, we did see some good Starfleet Academy or Starfleet headquarters, probably Starfleet Academy stuff.
That was the guesstimation. It's played as just a moment with Starfleet, but based on the iconography around the back wall, there's a repeating pattern of Starfleet Command and Starfleet Academy, and you don't tend to have that unless you're actually there. But it's a lovely visual. I'm glad to see, if we're swapping universes, yet again, we might lose all the Starfleet stuff that we like. So having a little bit of that at the start or in flashbacks would be very important, and I'm very hoping that we get a nice infusion of Starfleet, because that is what makes Star Trek a lot of Star Trek as well.
And Picard looks fantastic in the Admiral's uniform, I gotta say. Raffi is there. We're not sure if it's a flashback to before he retired or if he got called or back into Starfleet after the events of Season 1. That's kind of what we're guessing.
Check out our uniforms video for that, because boy, Stuart, I've got a deep dive ready for you there.
All right, cool. Check
There's
that
the tease.
But I just want to throw just one thing out there real quick. So you got the Ferengi, Bajor, Vulcan, Starfleet Academy, Starfleet, UFP, and Tellar, and Klingon flags in that one scene. I'm sure there's probably more around the room, but again, that was great to see that. Bajor is part of the Federation now, thanks to the events of Deep Space Nine. So great to see that. I thought that was really nice.
Or at the very least, these flags represent who's in the class of this year's Academy.
Yeah.
Because Bajor doesn't need to be part of the, Rose in the Academy without being part of the Federation, and so that would be a lovely symbolic thing, having Klingons in a Ferengi and etc. I said this during our live, that I'm hoping that this is one of those, it's a political statement, but done appropriately in Star Trek, where showing it but don't force it down our throats. There is that line where if you have a scene, say it's a flashback, and that's assuming it's a flashback, but it doesn't actually make sense to flashback necessarily. But say it is, he could be presiding over an academy class in which we cut to the other side of the auditorium, and there's this plethora of alien races and genders and tall and short, whatever. And so you see this great thing of these Ferengi and these Klingons talking, and then these humans, these Bajorans talking, and without telling us anything, we see that the Federation was in a really strong state of coalition, of togetherness, because the Academy is a great symbolization of going forward. That would be a wonderful thing. It's quite an expensive scene, but also lets you establish to the audience and the fans that yes, Ferengi are going to look the same in your future. Reset the Klingons looking correct. That's a big step to do. Boom, there you go. That would be a big thing, and it would give us big Federation start, which then contrasts with if then the universe changes and goes dark, to have this very strong Federation idyllic start. And then maybe if you cut to the alternate future, just like Mirror Universe, they're all human and have subjugated other races, or all Vulcan or whatever, then seeing that heavy contrast helps storytelling, because then it gives, it's hard to work out how the universe feels in Picard Season 1, because they rarely show Starfleet, so hard to see. But to know what we've lost, you have to know what we have. And so to show that, it's storytelling, guys, it's storytelling.
I love the line too. It's the end of the road not taken, and then you get the alternate vibe, the alternate universe vibe. You see all the characters. You see Eleanor. You see Raffi. You see.
And well done for
Girardi.
remembering his name, by the way, because that was the one that we had a hard time remembering.
Yeah, yeah. And you see Rios again. Rios is in a alternate uniform with a badge that. Well, we'll talk about that in another video, but definitely has like an ensign vibe to it, which, yeah. Anyway, so it was great seeing all them back, I guess. I just hope that do they need them all back? I don't know. But anyway, we're here. So
I mean, shows can use different characters in smaller or bigger ways depending. And obviously, if this is a soft reboot, because if you change the entire storyline of the show and universes, it's a reboot. As close thematically as possible. But the fact that they made a point of showing every single character with a distinctly different look and feel. Okay, Jurati maybe not so much, but this she's known for being more smiley, at least when she's not murdering, and so when she's more sulky expression, at least tells you that maybe she wasn't mentally changed over and she's this ill. There's potential things there. But I quite like the different vibe with Rios and Raffi and Elnor, and obviously Seven of Nine unborgified, which could either mean in this version of reality there was no borgifiedness, or she was never borgified at all. There's a lot they could play with there.
And the interesting thing is all the characters appear to not understand what's happened, but they are aware that there was a change made. So they didn't change with the timeline. They're not from that timeline. She reaches up and feels for her implant. It's gone. She's got a wedding ring on. Rios is like, what am I wearing? So that was interesting that it's not just Picard that's aware that there's something off. So yeah, I'm excited to hear the storyline, whether this is Q-centric, whether this was his idea, or if something else has happened. Because when he shows up, Picard's already in this uniform, which is a darker uniform. So I'm interested to see how that plays out, and the fact that everybody is kind of in on it is going to be interesting.
Although I'm super pleased that if we hadn't have seen that Federation aesthetic, that uniform, that moment, it would have all been this darker, gritty vibe. Kind of what Season 4 Discovery trailer had. It kind of missed out a little bit of that classicness, apart from the new uniform, bright colours. So without that, it would have been more gritty, but having that shows we are going to get some of the old as well, the old classic vibe. But yeah, I think people have said that, it feels very COVID because they all filmed alone or separately, but it makes too much sense that if you're only going to show a moment for each character, and close to the moment they all shift into their universe, which might very likely be episode 1, which is the stuff you have the most clips of, etc., then you get to have your cake and eat it too. You get to show the characters without showing us anything new, but you get to have them alone because they all live their own lives, except for Elnor and Raffi. And it's a very effective way of doing it. I think that's, it touches base with everything without showing us much. But because they're all, like I said, in the same boat mentally, my vote is that they've either Q has shifted their brains into another universe's them's body, or the universe changed around them and they're all temporally out of sync for X, Y, and Z reason. Who knows? That could be because if there's another episode beforehand to maybe explain they're all different, whatever, it's fine. I think Q is trying to get them into the universe to solve it. Could be as well. So it depends if Q is helping them with a problem or preemptively helping them fix another problem. He does both.
Yeah. He's not really an enemy. He's a frenemy, a protagonist. So yeah, he could be helping them with something that's gone wrong as far as he knows as well.
Well, temporal Cold War. I mean, it could be as simple as they're pulling, because that still is happening in the future, in this version of the future, this present of the future. So it could be something as simple as if you want to be direct canon, you have the ability to change the universe inbuilt in the timeline.
So, that's kind of the whole trailer in a nutshell, guys. Like I said, we gave our thoughts on it in a live, 2-hour-long live. So if you want to go check that out, please do, because we kind of go into more detail. Plus, we're going to be making very specific videos based on this as well, as we tend to do here at Trekyards. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit that like button, and yeah, let us know your thoughts about what you think about this trailer. How did it leave you vibe-wise? So really looking forward to hearing you guys' opinion.
But yeah, pleasant surprise. And even though they have an uphill battle slightly, we're always open to the reset of, well, it might be good. We're not going to be jaded by it. We just are going to be more cautious, which is fair, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always cautiously optimistic, as we like to say. And yeah, if they can turn it around and make it feel a little bit better than season 1 as far as the overall tone goes, especially for certain characters, I'm all on board with it. And so far, so good. So keep on track, I guess. So anyway, guys, check out our other videos as well. And please come back and join us. Let us know your thoughts. And we will talk to you next time. Mm-hmm. Until then, he is Commander Cosmos.
He is Captain Foley.
We are Team Trekyards. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.